3 ways to determine if your goals are truly worth the effort. You are now listening to the Teach Well podcast, Season 1, Episode 2. Previously on our last episode, and I don't know if you stumbled upon us, if you were recommended to check us out, but however you found us, I welcome you. And I believe that you are here for a reason. I believe that the message of this podcast will resonate with you. Welcome to the Teach Well podcast, where we passionately educate, encourage, and discuss the wellness of our nation's most valuable resource, our educators. I am your host, MJ, and I'll be leading us on this journey of prosperity. We'll learn how to improve our finances, get rid of stress, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. So stay tuned and join our community as we find peace, work-life balance, and dare to make ourselves a priority. Because in order to teach well, we must be well. Welcome to episode 2. I am your host, MJ, and I am doing fine today. How about you? How are you doing? How are you doing really? As for me, I have a funny little story. You know how you promise yourself that you're not going to spend money on your classroom. And I've been doing really well because I'm trying to get out of debt and I'm on this debt snowball. I have my emergency fund. I'm trying to pay down all my debt. So it's been a very tight Christmas. But I was on this website called Kindergarten Smorgasbord. I think that's the name of it. And he had his wonderful little kids jumping on a small trampoline as they were spelling their sight words. And since I'm a kindergarten teacher, I just thought that was wonderful. And I've been putting off the trampolines for months, saying I don't need it. You don't need it, MJ. Let it go. But I got a gift card from Amazon, so I bought one. So if you're following me on Facebook, I put a picture of the trampoline on there. Although I made that purchase, I did have wellness in mind because what I usually do when the kids go to recess is sometimes I take out my yoga mat, I do some stretches, or I'll do some stretches in my chair. But I think I'm going to start doing about 10 minutes, just a quick 10 minutes of some jogging or some running or just bouncing because that bouncing motion seems to relax me. Now that I've shared. I'm going to settle on shared. Now that I've shared with you guys, it would be nice to know more about you. What did you buy over the break? What did you spend your money on lately for your class? Was it a purchase that you budgeted for, or was it a purchase that you just bought on the spot? Those little kids, they're so cute. They get to you. They make your money jump out of your purse. But we are going to be strong. I bet you already know that my goal for this year is to do better with my finances. I have a student loan that I'm just sick of. I want to get it paid off. I'm committed to getting it paid off this year because I realize that all goals are centered around wellness. Whether you want to lose weight, that's wellness. Control your temper. Get out and do things that are enjoyable. All goals are about wellness. So I thought, why not take a wellness look at the goals that we set? And sometimes we create these lofty goals, or they might be small goals, and we never stop and think, how much does that cost? So like all of you, I'm sure there was one time when you need to take a look at your budget and really either scale down or at least monitor your money. So my goal this year is to do that, to take my money and use it in the best way I know how. And that would be to pay off my student loan. It's been plaguing me. Let's get it done already. So there are 2 ways to handle that issue. You can save money and you can make more money. My biggest issue was how am I going to make more money? So I decided one way to do that is to work Saturday school. Do you guys work Saturday school? Do you have it? In my district, the kids come to school to make up their attendance on Saturdays from 8 to 12. And a lot of teachers work Saturday school. But at my school, there's a shortage of teachers who are interested. I figured I'll work from 8 to 12 on Saturday. Hopefully my girls are still asleep by the time I get back because they sleep late. They probably won't even know I'm gone. So, to work on Saturday school and also to spend some time tutoring. My goal is to talk to the principal and see if there's some money available that so that I can get paid to stay after school and tutor. Sounds like a pretty cool goal, but I needed to analyze it. I needed to check my wellness and make sure I was going to be okay because that goal cost a lot of time. Saturdays are my busiest days. I am the family Uber. I drive my children to all their events. Saturday is the day we do our chores. We go grocery shopping. I handle all my errands because we go to church on Sunday. And on Sundays, just traditionally, we don't do much. So including Saturday school in my already busy schedule would be tricky. But I thought that might still be worth it because I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, and that's the sacrifice that I'm willing to make. The second thing when it comes to my time was to consider working after school. Right now, I don't stay after unless I have to prep, and I'm pretty good at streamlining and being organized so that I don't have to stay after school long. But if I'm going to tutor after school, I'll probably have to stay after school at least an hour or two every day, and that one is tough for me. I have to go pick up my daughters and get them ready for bed and get dinner on the table and help everybody with their homework. And it's just a time I get to spend with my girls, and I love that time. So when I weighed the cost and I thought, well, is it worth it? To me, the answer was absolutely not. I'm just not giving up that time. That's my downtime. That's my enjoyable time. That's my connection time. And I'm just not willing to give that up. So from a wellness perspective, when I really stopped to weigh the cost of my goal on my time, I think that it's perfectly fine to work Saturdays, but I revised my goal to not work after school and not do the tutoring. The second way I analyze my goal for wellness is to look at the cost of my freedom. How much of my freedom would I have to give up to reach the goal of paying off my student loan? And it is a big cost because I like to spend my money. If I want to get something to eat, I go and get it. If I want to catch a movie, I'm down. Want to get some lunch, let's go. Oh, those shoes look so cute on my daughter, and I'll just spend because I don't know. It's enjoyable to me. But I will have to give up the freedom of just getting anything that I want. And I think that's going to be really tricky. But I think getting disciplined about my spending is better off for my wellness than just buying whatever I think is good at the time. When I analyze that part of my goal, I think that is a very good goal. Matter of fact, I think it's the perfect goal for where I am in this stage of life. I think monitoring and giving up some of my freedom is going to help me get the discipline that I need to stay on track and to make sure that I'm never in this money situation again. So when it comes to the freedom that I'm losing, I believe that's a good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just give up that freedom. Well, I'm going to try. And no, I'm not going to try. I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to stop overspending. I'm going to stick to my budget. And that will be better off for me. The third lens from which I'm going to analyze my goal is from a social lens. Socially, I think this goal is going to be a mess because I spend a lot of money on my classroom. I buy a lot of handouts from Teacher Pay Teacher. I like everything to look so cutesy, so I'll go and buy something from the teacher supply store. And that's fine because I get the cuteness without having to do the prep. I also like to change my centers a lot to different activities. Maybe every other week we start a new activity. And if I don't buy it, I'm going to have to make it, which means I'm going to have to do a lot more prep, which means I'm going to have to spend time doing that prep. And since I just said I don't want to stay after school every day, that means I'm going to have to give up my break time to do the prep. I don't know how I feel about that. That is an expensive cost. I use my breaks. I go in my room, I lock the door, I turn off the light, I do yoga. Sometimes I lay down and relax. Sometimes I just sit there and watch The Real Housewives on my break, but it's my break, it's my downtime, and I love it. Oftentimes I like to just go and sit with my next door teacher, and we gab and we talk and we just spend time together. And if I'm doing a lot more prep, I don't know when I'm going to get the time to do those things. So on second thought, now that I'm thinking it through, I don't think I'm willing to do the additional prep. So I thought about that last night. Okay, so you can't spend your money. You can't have these cutesy things unless you're going to make them, and you don't want to make them because that takes time. So what are you going to do? So here's my plan. I'm going to just use whatever's in the teacher's edition. What? You're not going to do anything extra? That's my inner voice screaming. No, I'm not going to do too much extra. I'm going to stick to the activities that are in the book. We also have iPads, so we'll try to do some activities on the iPad instead of just the cutesy things. I'll see if a friend of mine has something that I can make a copy of, and we'll just do whatever the next door teacher does. But I'm not going to do the extra prep. I feel very strongly that teachers need to take their break. Break is not for making copies. Break is not for prepping your classroom, cleaning up. It's not from sitting there tutoring a student. Break is break. You need your break. If you don't take your break, it's not your principal's fault or anybody's fault. It's your fault. So if this case, it would be my fault. And I'm not willing to give that up. I need that time. So to the book we go. Teacher's edition, workbooks, iPad, and journals. I think I'm going to make a writing journal with just a newspaper print paper that they give us for free at work. And I'll try to make a cute cover for it. And we'll write in the journal all the time, so we don't need as much writing paper. And I think I'll make a math journal so that we won't have to make copies, or I won't have to make anything cute for them to do for math. So between the workbooks and the teacher's edition, or the materials that come with the curriculum, we'll be okay. It won't be exactly what I want, but it'll be fine. So socially, I should be okay. I'm going to spend time with my colleagues, and I'm going to leave work on time every day, and make sure that I have that time with my daughters too. So I will have to give up my Saturdays and hanging out with my friends on Saturdays, but maybe I'll just hang out with my church friends on Sunday and I'll still have some downtime to spend with people my age, and not just my daughters and not just my 5-year-old lovelies at work. So we did it. We took a look at 3 ways to determine if your goals are truly worth the effort. We looked at the cost of our time, our social cost, and also things that cost our freedom. But there are other costs that we pay. Sometimes we pay a spiritual cost. Does our goal go against our value systems or our beliefs? Sometimes we have an emotional cost. It makes us lose sleep. It can cost us physically. Does it keep us from moving and exercising? Does it cause us to change our diet or do things that are not good for our health? I have a challenge for you. Write down your goal for this year if you made one, and if you haven't, you should. Write down a goal that you want to attack this year, and then I want you to stop and think about the cost. Some of those costs I'm sure you're willing to pay, but there might be others that you are not willing to pay. And if you're not willing to pay that particular cost, then just adjust your goal. Because if we blindly create these goals and we commit to these goals, a couple of things will happen. Number one, lots of times we won't meet our goal because we know we're not willing to pay that cost. I know, for example, that I am not willing to give up my lunch break. And if I did not stop and analyze my wellness, I just wouldn't have reached my goal. I wouldn't have done it. So that's why a lot of people fail at reaching their goals. And secondly, we need to take a look at it because we need to know exactly what we're giving up, and we need to plan for the things that we think are important. So giving up my freedom is going to be very tough for me, but I think it's very good for me. But I need to keep that in mind. The reason why I am giving up my freedom is for a good cause. And that why, knowing why you're doing it, is very powerful. It helps us reach the goals that we need. Thank you for listening to the Teach Well podcast, where teacher wellness matters. And remember, in order to teach well, you must be well. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.